Julie, I can't hear you. That could be me. 1 second. Yeah, that's me. There you are. How are ya?
I'm all right. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I love the shirt. Treyarch.
Thank you. I thought I'd represent today.
Yeah. And a bit of art in the back. Is that Rey from Star Wars?
It is. That is a painting of
Ah.
Rey.
Are you a
I
fan?
love her very much. I
Yeah.
am.
She's a
Yeah.
great character, isn't she?
Yeah. She is a great character. I like her very much. Plus, anyone who can like hang out with BB-8. That's
Oh,
like
BB-8 had my heart.
my new personal friend. Yeah.
I
Like
want to
my
get.
text tone is BB-8.
Oh,
I'm
really?
that person. Yeah. Yeah.
So were you always a big Star Wars fan, or what?
It kind of grew as I got older.
Yeah.
Like I definitely loved Star Wars when I was younger, but something in the resurgence kind of brought me back to it in a different way. And understanding the stories now as an adult has a different weight. So yeah.
Oh,
Um,
in the older trilogies or the new, or what? What do you mean by that?
um, I mean, I always, I grew up with 4, 5, and 6, as we're supposed to call them.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of 1, 2, and 3, but everything from 4 on I've enjoyed, including Rogue One and Solo. And I know people have their issues, but I just kind of contend. Last Jedi, I continue to love the whole story.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I had an opportunity to consult on and work with the experience of Vader Immortal, the VR series.
Oh, wow.
So episodes 1, 2, and 3. And I actually did all of the body capture, the motion capture for Zoe 3, who takes you through the whole
No
experience.
way.
But
Wow.
yeah, and then I got to sort of consult on some of her character development.
So what's
Yeah.
that out on?
That it originally debuted on Oculus Quest, I think. That was part of the launch. I haven't kept track of who gets to have it now, but I know you can have
Yeah.
it on Quest.
Yeah, right. Ari here says, "Did you watch the Clone Wars animated series? Have you
I
watched that
watched
before?"
some, not
Yeah.
all of it. I try to keep track of partly what my friends are doing in addition. But to be totally honest with you, I really was wanting to introduce my kid to Star Wars Rebels. But here's what happened. I pushed too hard. I pushed Star Wars too hard. And my kid, I appreciate the free will. That's great. It was like, no, 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 no. You pushed Harry Potter. There will be none of that. So Star Wars, he got hooked on The Mandalorian. So now I'm like,
Ooh.
listen, dude, you like The Mandalorian. We could talk about like some Rebels and Clone Wars. And he's like, no, 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 no. So I got to kind of like work him into stuff.
So you just got the one son?
I do have the one son. But
How old is he?
My whole son. He's 10.
Did he say something funny on you mentioned on Twitter the other day?
He says lots of funny things. He says, oh God, I know he recently said something about how voice is power, which was really incredible because the conversation we were having was about the civil rights movement. And he just started pontificating around
Wow.
this whole idea of like how important it is to use our voices. And I was like, tell me more, child. Tell me all the things. And it's funny because I mean, I'm relatively, I'm not private about the fact that I have a child, but, I
Yeah,
try
yeah.
to retain his privacy,
Of course.
just because I'm relatively out there doesn't mean he has to be.
Of course, yeah.
But I found it interesting that he does say some really funny or delightful or insightful or profound things. And occasionally someone will reply like, yeah, bullshit. He didn't say that. And I'm like, you don't know my child. He's that guy. So
Is he a gamer?
he is. He would say he is. He would say he's grinding on Roblox all the time.
Grinding on
So
right.
that's
Nice.
that's his thing. He's
Nice.
all over. He's very Roblox oriented. But yeah, I think we'll be moving into a little more of a console thing relatively soon.
But he
I'm
knows what
thinking of.
he
Go
knows
ahead.
what mum does for work, yeah?
Yeah, otherwise he just thinks I'm like beating people up when I'm in my recording studio upstairs all the time. He just thinks I'm kicking the shit out of people. No, he knows what I do. He knows what I do.
And does he
He
think it's
knows.
cool?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does, especially now that he's a little bit older. I think at first it was like, you do the thing. But now he's like, oh, you do the thing.
Yeah, it's going to get cooler and cooler as he gets older. So how's 2020 for you? Because you mentioned you got a recording studio. Was that built for that, or was that earlier on?
I've actually had my studio in my house for years.
Oh, nice.
I certainly souped it up when the quarantines occurred. Very quickly. Most of us who already had studios needed to turn them into broadcast quality immediately. So, increased internet speed a little bit, added Source Connect standard, did a few other things. But I've been able to record from home for a long time. I would say like 95% of my auditions have always been done from home.
Wow.
And after all this time auditioning, I certainly appreciate getting booth direction, and whenever I can go in front of a casting director, that's wonderful. But so much of what we do is self-directed at this point. So after all this time, I think I'm pretty good at self-directing. And when I'm not, I think I've gotten really good at recognizing like, oh, no, I need help with this one. This isn't something I can do on my own. And if I can catch that early enough, then I won't obsess for 7.5 hours on one piece of copy. Wow. Which I could do.
That's interesting.
But yeah, I've been recording from home this whole time. All of, since March 13th, whenever we locked down, I have been in my little padded place recording, and it's been amazing.
What mic do you use, can I ask? Do you have a specific mic that you go to?
You may not ask. That is too personal.
Oh, is it? I'm so
We
sorry.
are not far enough into this interview, sir, for you to ask me such things. I use a Neumann TLM 103.
Oh, I've heard that one before.
I like it very much. I have a little U87 envy. I have to admit, there's part of me that kind of wants to get a U87, but
really?
Right now I'm gonna chill. But yeah.
Coalition here says Julie's child seems smarter than me.
I don't know about that. I do feel like if we listen to kids, I could say the same thing. I can imagine. I wasn't. I didn't say these things when I was a kid, and then I'll hear a parent, quote something. I'm like, oh, I feel like we have so much wisdom as children, and then it just falls out of our brains for a while we try to figure out who the crap we are. And then maybe we come back to that space when we're lucky enough. I know that for me, so much of what I do for a living is playtime. So I feel like I've had to stay really in touch with my kid self.
Yeah, I like. Well,
so,
you've played kids before, haven't you?
I have. Funny you should say. What is that? Is that a segue?
Is that a segue there?
What is happening right now?
Well, I want to know. Well, talk to me through it, because you've been in a few Call of Duties. Like, if people don't know, you actually played Samantha in Black Ops 1. Is that right?
The first one I remember doing. So this is how long it's been.
Oh, World at War, was it?
The first one I remember doing was actually, hold on, let me think. It was the moon map. It was the moon map for the resurrection.
Really?
Wow. It was the moon map. That's the first one I remember doing. It doesn't mean I'm correct that was the first, but that's the first I remember doing. And so, the German accented Samantha has been me ever since.
Because on IMDb, I feel like it was World at War was there. Maybe I'm wrong.
It might be.
Shit, that's actually like 13 years ago, more, I think.
See, that's why my memory is that it's been 10 years, but then again, I mean, listen, time as we discuss it in the zombies world is a little tough to grasp. So you can't hold this against me. I've spent some time in the dark ether now. Things are tough, guys. Things are tough.
So then were you in Black Ops 2? What other games besides Cold War, obviously?
I
Black Ops
believe
4.
Black Ops 2, Black Ops 4, yes. And then now,
So
a
what's your
new
reaction
iteration.
when they're saying you're going to be an operator? You're going to be, you know, playable.
I mean, you know, Maxis is such a tough character, right? And um, I know that the game is so hardcore, and I'm such a softie. Like, I cried.
Did you?
I cried.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I love it.
did. And I'm like, I'm going to be emotional talking about it. And, you know, I, I feel really close to Samantha Maxis. You know, I have felt close to this character throughout the time I've played her as a child, you know, and the way that we've done the recording process, I've really mostly been aware of her part of the story, which would make sense, right? So I feel, you know, without getting into like my process as an actor, but like my process as an actor, no, I definitely feel like, you know, there have been times that I have felt so strongly what's happening to Samantha, to Sam, that it's rocked me. The end of 4 of Tag Their Totem, Alpha Omega stuff. I mean, I fully cried in the booth. So
Recording.
I
Wow.
have, yeah. And that's, you know, a lot of that is part and parcel to, you know, the writing. And it's, you know, it's just, she's a really fascinating character to play. And because she has had traditionally a couple different sides to her, you know, really being able to hold that depth for her as all of a sudden I got into this session just for her to become an adult. I don't know if you know this, but I was just told you have a session as Samantha Maxis. And I was like, awesome. I love playing this character. I'm so excited. Cool. And I am the person who I tend to kind of dress like evoking a character for myself, so I feel it.
Oh, really?
I guess I am that person in that process. I'm really sounding like
no, honestly,
you know,
don't worry.
Fluffy right now, but flaky. But I, you know, I put on my like slightly
get into character,
girl dressed in my combat boots, and I show up, and they're like, "So, you're an adult," and I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" And I was just floored. Like, I just had to sit. And there was a whole discussion around like, what did that mean? And it was, I mean, that, you know, it was emotional for that too. It's like, I get to like bring her into an adult space and see what she's like. So that first session was almost like a work session. I don't know if what we did in that session ended up in the game. I know that it was a lot of finding her. And then, you know, as we were doing that, that was enough. That was enough for me to be so excited. And so I'm holding this secret, and, you know, she's going to be a grown up and I can't tell anyone. And then the day they said, okay, so you're going to do these lines, and she's going to be an operator. Like, totally started crying, partially because I wanted to see her have that kind of agency, right? I wanted her to be able to sort of move through her story in a different way. But also I knew this meant she would get to exist in these other parts of Call of Duty. And then the last thing was, I'm such a softie, Dan. I don't know if anybody warned you.
I love it.
I'm like a rainbow wrapped up in a ponytail. So like, I kept thinking of the players who had already been sending me messages saying that, you know, their dream was coming true to see her, you know, take a bigger role. And then I knew how much it was going to mean to everybody to get to have her as an operator. So, you know, it feels like a group effort. It feels a little weird. You know, I don't know all the people, all the 100 million people who play Call of Duty, but I have, you know, I feel like there's a connection. So I love her too, guys. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Is that crazy? You obviously saw that graphic or that news that they had 100 million players. Like that's.
I did.
Well, how do you comprehend that as an actor to think that?
What I do, Dan, thank you for asking, is I take 100 marbles and I put them around me, and then I take 1,000,000 times that, look at all the marbles and say, that's a lot of players. I kind of lost myself in the middle of my marble thing, but yeah, no, I can't comprehend it. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of humans.
So do you reckon the character has developed with you over the years, would you say?
I mean, like, have I influenced her?
Yeah, or either way.
I could. All the jokes about how she could influence me and how I could, how scary that makes me.
Yeah, I know.
Obviously.
I know.
I don't know. I don't have a big enough ego to say that, like, I have inexorably, affected her character. But all I can say is I feel connected, and I can tell you that, Craig Houston is I think he's been in almost all of my sessions, and I know he's, deeply involved in, the writing along with the rest of the team. And my experience is, through Craig sometimes, or through Amanda Wyatt, who's doing my voice direction, the experience is uniquely collaborative. So I can't tell you what it would be from their perspective. And I can just share that it feels like we're all figuring out what's right for her.
Well, I've got to say, you did a bang up job, just from me anyway. You are the character. You. They can't replace you now, I don't think.
Thank you. That's lovely to hear. Beyond job security, which sounds great, but no, thank you. That's really lovely. Thank you.
Do you remember when you saw the operator for the first time? What she looked like? Mm-hmm. Was there sketches or what?
Mm-mm.
No.
I didn't see sketches. I saw it when everybody else did.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that like?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I was gathering some information, but I wasn't like, I saw the final stuff and was just, I don't know, amazed. And she's, I love that she's badass, and I love that she's not putting it on. There's like a level of badass that I fully respect.
Oh, yeah.
And that a lot of, female characters in games can do, right? Which is like, yeah, I'm going to fuck people up. Like, it's this really tough thing, and like, that's a thing, right? I like that she's just kind of grounded and sometimes understated, and it matches for me. I feel like she matches that core. Yeah, and seeing her visually was amazing. And I also, I like that it wasn't leaning into little girl space. I wasn't leaning into like, now she's, a super soldier, like, what I mean?
Yeah. It was pretty grounded. Joshua asked, how was it recording Lost? A beautiful song. We just played it earlier in the countdown. Great song. Talk to us about that. How did that come about?
Thank you. It was moving. I don't, like, you guys are going to be like, oh, good. It was nice to watch Julie talk about how much she cries. It was,
oh, really? You cried again?
Well, it's a beautiful song. The words, and Craig Houston wrote the words to the song. I just answered this question the other day. Somebody said, what's your favorite line that you've gotten to say? And I kept finding myself, there were other lines I was thinking of, but I like the part that I got to sing, which is, I am lost, but I don't want you to find me, which I think is just such a special line, I think. And it was incredible. It was also like a bucket list thing. Like being able to sing
That's
in
awesome.
a game and sing this epic song and hear that incredible arrangement. Kevin Sherwood did this incredible thing with it. And it was pretty big to me. And I was really excited.
Oh, it's heading in the millions of views now from last time I checked.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
And again, you knocked it out of the park. Was that hard to sing that one?
You.
Was that like, because it's a different arrangement. Like, it's a very different song.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. I was not aware of where the arrangement would go.
Oh.
Right? What I did was like really kind of from a simple demo place. So I was not, let's put it this way, distracted by any other pieces. It was more of a simple experience, which again made it more personal for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, seeing and hearing where the song, journeyed was also pretty wild, But also, it's also a lower place in my register, which is sort of a musically technical thing. But, I have a pretty high singing voice. I've always been a soprano. I've always, done my singing from a higher space. And this was like this lower, deeper register, which felt so much more congruent with, Maxis as we know her now.
That is a special thing, though. Not many people can play a character and then have a song in a game. Like, you're in an elite group now. You know that, don't you?
Yes, I do. I pinch myself.
Do you think you'll get to do another song or what?
I don't know, but I would love that.
Yeah, please.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, anything. Mary Had a Little Lamb. Like, don't worry. It's fine. I'll sing the phone book. It's cool. Do we have phone books anymore?
No,
I'll sing my
I don't
iPhone.
think so.
Yeah.
Do you know where the zombie storyline is going?
Can you imagine if I was like, yes, and let me tell you, like, there goes the job security. But the answer actually is no. And that's by design, partially by design in terms of what actors tend to know as we are part of a story that is constantly evolving, but also part and parcel to the way I have wanted this to go. Again, talking with, and again, Craig is part of this incredible team, and speaking with, Craig and with Amanda Wyatt and looking at what's coming up, I kind of don't want to know. I like to have it unfold as it does for her. So I will read the script when I get it, usually, pretty close to the recording day. But I don't even generally want to know what's happening outside of that unless Maxis is aware of it.
Do they give you the script of the whole thing or just your lines?
It depends on what it is.
Okay.
So sometimes it's, a full scene or many scenes, and sometimes it's, especially like operator stuff will be a little bit more line by line.
Is there ever a project where they, the story from, let's say, the first game to, like, is there ever a project where you know the outline of where it's going for a game? Or is it always so hidden?
I'm trying to think. I can't remember ever, except for Vader Immortal, but I was I was consulting on it, so I did know where we were going, or most of where we were going. Yeah, I think no. And part of that is, thinking about these giant games, if I'm doing, a Square Enix game or doing a Final Fantasy game, there are so many, pieces of stories that have to be put together. And I might only know where my character is going, or I might only know that storyline, but I won't know the full arc. Occasionally I'll get into something and have a sense of an arc, but I won't ever be able to have a whole script to read of the whole story. And we certainly don't have a lot of information when we audition, which is a whole other thing, because we have to be able to show that we can really help create a character that we don't know and has probably been scrubbed so no one knows. So you're like, I'm gonna play this person who owns an ant farm. No, actually, you're an alien and you've stolen a spaceship. Cool. Great.
Yeah. So because you've done so many great games and great roles, are you still auditioning like the rest? You're not getting... Surely you're getting calls now, left, right, and center from game devs.
That's such a sweet question.
No,
I do audition. I audition all the time. There are times that that I'm offered a wonderful
thank God,
job that I didn't audition for. That does happen. But part of being a voice actor is continuing to put yourself out there, and I audition pretty much every day, regardless of whether or not someone has handed me a different job. So I'm very grateful that there have been people who have said, we just want to offer Julie this or that. It can be a cartoon, it can be a video game, but I'm also always auditioning, which I really enjoy. I actually really enjoy auditioning.
Oh, really? You might be the only one that said that I've talked to. Well, or one of the only few.
Like, that's also part of my general attitude, though. It's like I want to find, I always find the fun. I've been doing some coaching lately and teaching classes, although I'm not a very didactic teacher.
For voice acting?
Yeah, but I'd someone will bring me in, like Voice One brought me in, they're San Francisco based, and they had me, teach a class, which is more for me coaching, like, let's work on copy together. Let's, talk with the group about how you approach what you're doing. But like, find the fun is the best way I can describe the process for me. That it doesn't mean that if I'm, playing a character who's, getting completely beaten up, or I'm harming somebody, or I'm sobbing in the corner, that I'm having fun as the character and gleeful in that experience. But for me, it's like a feeling of connection. So if I feel connected to an experience, if I can end the session or the audition feeling, I don't know, like there's a deep sigh, like you do when you go do your favorite thing or hang out with the people you love the most and you have this really great time, or you even just smile at somebody and they smile back and you have that moment of connection. If I have that, that's a feeling of fun. So as long as I'm maintaining that, I'm able to continue to not only enjoy what I'm doing, but keep it really fresh. I've been doing this a long time and I am still giddy every time I get a job, to the point where my agents laugh at me. Oh, they laugh at me though. They're like, you've been doing this. I'm like, I know, but they want me. And they're like, yes, Julie, they do. And I'm like, but it's
great. That's great. No, I love that you've got the passion still. That just makes it all much better. Definitely. Baron says, how do you remember getting the role of Samantha Maxis back in Black Ops? Or do you remember that at all?
I will tell you the one thing that I really remember, which is that the audition required a German accent. I did not have one in my back pocket. I have a good ear for accents. I tend to be able to pick them up pretty quickly. And I thought, well, I guess let me see if I can study this accent and make something happen. So I studied some real people speaking with a German accent, as opposed to watching a tutorial or anything. But I was just sort of picking up the feeling of a real human speaking with a German accent. And then did the audition and booked it. And I was like, oh, I have to really know how to do this now. So so I just did a deeper dive on the German accent and just kept drilling it. And I remember going to my first session and just drilling this accent over and over again. And I had put it either on, I guess it wasn't my phone at the time, whatever my device was at the time, and just kept drilling the accent so that I felt as confident as possible.
Awesome.
But I remember that. I did not know, by the way, no, if this is the implicit question, no, I did not know what I was getting into. I did not know.
Surely you get confused by the story. Tell me you do.
That I do?
Yeah, thank God.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because it is confusing. You know what I mean? Like it's like, surely when you're reading the script, you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah, but again, that's what's been so interesting for me, portraying Maxis over the past, since Cold War started, is really letting that confusion be more than okay. Just sort of accepting, okay, well, if I'm confused by this, that's just what I'm feeling or where she is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not wanting to get ahead of it. I don't want to predict anything. I don't want to know. I truly don't want to know where it's going.
So when it releases, you straight on YouTube watching cutscenes?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you are.
I don't know what you're talking about. No,
you don't have time to play. Come on.
I'm not doing it. No, I'm walking my dog all the time. My dog's like, I have to go out. I'm like, I'm watching cutscenes. Yeah, I mean, I do. I like to watch. I also like. It's fun for me to watch. Some of the streamers and their reactions to things. When the trailer for Cold War came out. And again, I had not told anybody, of course, because I'm terrified of NDAs. I am terrified of non-disclosure agreements. I have literal nightmares about them, and I am not kidding you. I have had nightmares. I had a nightmare. I've told this story before, so I apologize if you've heard me in an interview, and I've shared this before, but I had a nightmare that someone from a games journalism publication called me up and tricked me into telling them what my role was in an upcoming game. And I woke up in a flipping panic. So anyway, I digress. Dan, you've distracted me. I almost lost my train of thought. So when the trailer for Cold War Zombies was coming out, and I knew we were going to find Samantha Maxis in the phone booth, and nobody knew yet, I just wanted to watch everyone's reactions, and I watched some amazing reactions. I loved just seeing like, is that Samantha Maxis? And I'm like, so yeah.
That was cool.
Yes, I do. And I do. Sometimes I will go back over some of the voice lines. I will admit this. I want to make sure that I'm keeping intact. If there's somebody's, collected some of the audio logs, and I'm like, okay, well, I want to revisit where we were. And so, yeah, I find it interesting.
So did you see the video of like Samantha Max's all the voice lines? Did you see that video that someone put together?
There are quite a few. Which are you referring to?
I think it was all the battle chatter from War. Was it the multiplayer battle chatter? I think so.
I've seen some. I don't know if it's the one you're thinking of. But why? You have a funny smile on your face. What is it?
No,
what did I do?
It's just
did I do
funny.
Something weird? I did something weird.
When you do the battle chatter, that must be exhausting. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the last session you do, surely.
It is part of what we do as voice actors to be able to play that way. I was in Last of Us 2, and
amazing game.
We did, I don't know how many sessions, 20, 25 million sessions, and they're all in, it's a high intensity. And, I've done quite a few, shooter games or battle games over the years. And you kind of have to be able to be okay with that, unless you are the person who's going to say, I won't do any of it. So
are there people like that?
I don't know. Who won't do it?
In an industry like this, that's so hard to get into.
Yeah, but I mean, you also have to think there aren't there are a lot of us who are like career voice actors. There are also a lot of actors who are on-camera actors who also do voiceover, or who do, theatrical acting. And then also, so, let's say someone is, an avid singer. I was trained originally as an opera singer. I was trained classically. So
that's a skill.
None of my singing teachers would be very happy with the battle chatter that I have done in my life. And, I think I do a good job of protecting my voice. But I will tell you that it took me a really long time into my career to feel comfortable, confident frankly brave enough to say, excuse me, I need a break. My voice feels like it's breaking. It's hard to do, yeah, I've been doing this a long time, but I've already shared how grateful I am.
Down. Yeah.
I don't want to, thank you. I don't want to let anyone down. I always want to do, I want to make this the best it can be for the players. I want to make this the best it can be for the developers who are working so hard to make it so wonderful. And if I fall short, what happens? Maybe they miss a deadline. Maybe that adds more pressure. So I always want to be a team player. So it's hard to then advocate for my own vocal health to make sure that I actually have the stamina to do the next 7 sessions they need.
It is amazing that they got Cold War out though, through COVID, and I don't think people realize how hard that actually is.
I mean, my first 1 or 2 sessions, I think maybe I had 2 in studio, and then everything else has been home studio.
Yeah.
And it was, that's also been wild to be just in my own little insulated, pardon the pun, but like really insulated experience, and isolated.
You mentioned that because I talked to Pierre Michael, who was obviously Hudson in Cold War, and he said he actually did. He had to
Piat.
Piat, sorry, Piat.
Yeah.
And he said that he had to do the efforts for Ian McKellen as Ian McKellen for one of his movies. So that just goes to your point, that not everyone can.
Oh well, that's a whole other thing. And he's Piat.
He's incredible, isn't he? What he can do.
Phenomenal. Yeah. He is a really phenomenal actor, and he and I are on some projects together, and I'm always like, dude, you are so good. He's so good. And one thing he's really, really skilled at doing is this sort of voice matching and imitation. And I do quite a bit of voice matching as well, but I'm terrible at Ian McKellen, so please don't ask me to do it. I'm out of voice for Ian McKellen today. But I will say that a lot of what we do is invisible. It's supposed to be anyway, right? But if you're doing voice matching, the idea is that you, the viewer, are seeing this movie, this cartoon, this, trailer, and you think it's that person, right? If I do my job right, you have no idea that I have voice matched anyone. And so the trick is to be invisible. So the whole thing, I mean, I know I was joking about ego earlier, but I think that's something that I love about voiceover, that part of what we're asked to do sometimes is to not be seen. And so much of the industry is about see me, find me wonderful. And social media has made this worlds colliding, right? Because I am on social media and I will say, hey guys, look at this amazing thing I'm in. I'm super excited about it. And I am, and I'm grateful, and I want to promote the project.
Of course.
But a lot of the work that I'm doing is also like under the radar. I've done...
Yeah.
I did the all of the what is it called? Airplane safe dubbing of an Oscar-winning actress for a film. And so, if you ever on an airplane or like watching on, in my day, there was network television. Like if you ever saw it on network TV or something and you don't want the kids to hear the screaming and the cursing, sometimes it's me pretending to, sort of imitating this person's voice, someone else's voice, so that it's seamless.
So you have actually done that before? Wow, that's interesting.
It'd be really weird if I was like, no, I was lying. I made everything up. I just lied. No.
Coalition says, why were you so cruel to Mr. Monkey? He just wanted to play.
Really can't speak to that. I'll just say I'm sorry. I don't know.
I've got to ask you here. Chaotic Gamers mentioned it as well. Jess Black from Far Cry. What do you remember from that experience? That was a great game.
Thank you so much. One thing I remember is it was the first time I felt like I was really given an opportunity to play a character who stayed dark and grounded, and holding her trauma with her in that way. It was an intense experience. It was an intense role. Interestingly, that is the same voice director. That's also Amanda Wyatt, who
she's everywhere. Amanda, tell you what,
she's phenomenal. And she again, I trust her a lot. We've worked together many times, and she's also a friend. We are a wonderful group of those of us who get to keep working together. Most of us tend to like each other. But yeah, that Jess Black was a really phenomenal role, and I was really rocked. If you have played all the way through and know Jess's backstory, it's pretty awful. She witnessed and experienced some pretty horrible stuff, and that, like, again, I was shaking while doing that. And I remember putting myself into a state where I could, imagine that happening to my family, imagining that experience.
Oh, geez.
So that, well, that's, part of the job, right? I mean, if I get to play a little fluffy bunny, I get to imagine what it would be like to be a little fluffy bunny. But, in Far Cry 5, there's not so much the fluffy bunnies.
No. Wow, that's awesome. So that was all. Was that voice work only? That one?
Voice work only. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what actual motion capture have you done? Was it just the VR one?
The VR for Vader Immortal, and then a couple other things.
Oh, okay. I see stuff. What you mean. Yeah. So
it's so annoying.
Big games or what? Just wink at us.
It's like I can't wink, and I'm like,
yeah, right.
I've had a lot of fun. The mocap stage is a blast. And it's also really interesting because I'm not looking for a transition or anything. I honestly want to tell you this. I started out in on camera, and when I left on camera, it was partially because I was already working and enjoying voiceover, but also because I was getting an opportunity to do some writing gigs. But I found that I wasn't sad to leave on camera, and I had been lucky that I was working, but I was very much, typecast is sort of the same thing over and over. And nobody was gonna look at me and say, oh, you know who should play this like ferocious creature, who should play that, so having this playground that felt so infinite to me was more exciting. So I really just left on camera, much to the dismay and shock to the people I know who were just obsessed with staying in that world. I was like, I'm gonna go do cartoons and stuff. And all of a sudden, years later, it's like, okay, well, to stay current, you're going to have to do some performing with your whole person again. We're going to put you on a stage, and we're going to have cameras, and probably 127 cameras. And I'm like, the hell you say? I thought I left this. But because it requires so much of the same imagination skill, right? I have to be able to picture not the scaffolding I see around me, right? Not my black suit with the little reflectors all over it. I'm imagining whatever my costuming would be, right? I'm imagining that I'm actually jumping over this cavern when I'm actually jumping from one apple box to another. So because it necessitates more imagination play, I think I was willing to allow myself to enjoy it.
Well, now you've got me excited. Because I know, just being a very big gamer, that if there's motion capture involved, the game has usually got some budget behind it, and I'm very excited to see what you're going to do. So we'll have to have you back for whatever that project is, hey? What about?
Well, I mean, I'd hang out with you again. You seem pretty nice.
Thank you, Thank you. I appreciate it. So, Last of Us 2. So you were is it Sephirite? Is that how you say it?
I was a Seraphite.
Seraphite, that's how you say it. Mm-hmm. The Australian accent doesn't help me out there.
No, it's all right. I'm working really hard not to slip into whatever my brain wants to do with your accent, which, by the way, terrible. If I try your accent, I'm like from
come on,
from
give
the
us
Midwest.
give us something.
No.
Come on.
No. Thank
Please,
you,
something,
sir.
anything.
No.
Okay.
It's that bad.
Okay.
All right. I'm working on it. How about I work on it next time we hang out? I'll see if I can. I'll make that my challenge.
Piot was actually pretty good at. I think he was pretty good. But you know what he's like. He's another world. So for that game, because I know they were one of the only games where the NPCs or like the villains, everyone had their own name. Do you know what I mean? Like, were you a few characters, or were you one character with a name, or how did that work?
I think if you look at the crediting, the crediting is Seraphite. Like if you look at the end credits, the Seraphites are listed together. So there were times that I know we referred to each other with names, but I'm not sure why it, fell out the way that it did. But the experience of being a Seraphite was I stayed consistent in my performance and what I knew of this voice that I was doing. And this, I don't know whether yes, it's a character, but it's more of like that iconic experience, right? Or that kind of enemy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't alter the way I delivered or held the voice print, but I have a feeling that I'm populating the game in many different areas.
Now I've got to go back and listen for your voice. But I probably won't recognize it. You're too good.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks. That's very sweet.
Now, I also saw on your IMDb Searching movie. Were you in that in some capacity? Because that movie is a banger.
That movie is incredible. I actually voice a newscaster in that. So some of the footage that you're seeing with, a news anchor talking and describing, I think it's like when they're, well, now I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but when you're seeing some evidence of things, things like that. So I think there are a couple places where my newscaster voice comes up.
That's a good movie. I tell you what,
it's a good movie.
Some of the best editing I've ever seen for a movie.
And it's just like one of those things that I didn't know what I was getting into.
No, you wouldn't.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. And that really does happen a lot. Like, we'll go in and do our part of what we do, and then that's it. And then later I'll go see that I'm like, that's what I was a part of? Cool.
Was that the same for Horizon Zero Dawn, the DLC?
I mean, did I know? I think I knew what the game was when I went in.
Because that was voice only. Because they did do some mocap for that. I remember.
I did. For Horizon Zero Dawn, I have a memory of having a head cam on at some point.
Yeah.
But it wasn't on a stage. So I think
face capture.
Somewhere in there might be a couple of lines that had some facial capture. But I'm not sure. And like that was the same thing with the Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man. Like there were a couple of things that I did with a head cam. So sometimes it's like a little split, little this, little that.
Yeah. Oh, it's fascinating. Yeah. So what about Batman, the new animated show? I mean, I'm a geek for Batman animated movies.
The new animated movie.
The new movie,
Batman, Halloween.
The Long Halloween Part 1 and 2. I can't wait. This is an all-star cast, I tell you what.
And we've already discussed how I love what I do. I love the projects I get to work on, and I do enjoy telling people about them. And it probably at some level looks like, oh, she just wants to compliment all the things. What I can tell you is that I really think this is a special project.
Oh,
I think Batman The Long Halloween is going to be a really special experience for people. Everybody's performance is phenomenal, and the art, the animation is just really special, and it matches it. The story is fantastic, and I mean the graphic novel. I'm looking over it. I have the graphic novel.
Oh, you do? Cool.
Yeah, and I know people really love that story, and it's always, you know, there's always a little bit of nervousness, I'm sure on the part of the people who are really at the helm, really hoping that people like it, matching up to their expectations. And all I can tell you is that I really think it's special, and all the stars that you're seeing in the cast, they're as wonderful, I think, as you'd want them to be.
They deliver.
They deliver.
So you've seen
Jensen Ackles.
Have you seen it, or you can't at liberty to say?
I have seen some of the things. I've seen some of the things.
Right. So when is that out? Because I'm so keen for that to drop.
I will have to look it up myself, but I think
it's this year.
There was an announcement for. Why do I want to say June? Did I make that up?
June.
I don't remember.
For part 1?
They announced. I think so. Can you look it up faster?
Yeah, 22nd of June. Yeah.
Great. Woo!
You
Saves
were right.
me from having to pretend that I can look at my phone without glasses on, man. That was cool. Oh, shit. I just said that out loud. Oh, well.
So will part 2 come out this year? They haven't announced that, have they? No. Part 2 would be...
in control of all these things.
Yeah, part 2 you would have recorded, though. Already, I'm guessing. Yeah. Man, I can't wait for that movie. Do you
know the story well?
Yeah, I do.
Do you know the story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out in the movie. But you also did the Suicide Squad. Did that help you get this gig, you think? The Lego games you've done with Warner, the Suicide, it must all help.
Did it help me get the job in Batman The Long Halloween?
Does it or not?
I feel like everything we do leads us to the next thing anyway.
Yeah. Right.
But I don't think it would hurt.
But it's not the main thing.
It's no, it is. I mean, it is the same voice director for both, but I mean, he works on lots and lots of different things. But DC has always been lovely to me. My first animated series where I was a series regular was the Zeta Project, which was a spin-off of Batman Beyond. So my first regular cartoon gig was in the Batman world.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so Suicide Squad.
Should have done better research.
You're still calling out my whole IMDb. I'm like, what else did I do? That's cool. Yeah, so Suicide Squad Hell to Pay was, I feel like it was the first time I'd been back in the DC, my DC homecoming in a long time. And I loved playing Silver Banshee, and she's a role, that hasn't been played all that often. So it was really fun to play her, and she's, you can see I'm kind of a sunshiny person, and then I get to play these characters who are not so sunshiny. I
know.
It's really fun.
I thought you'd have more sunshiny characters after speaking to you now.
I have them. I physically in my, what do I have right
Maybe now? I haven't seen them because I'm not playing those, or I'm not watching those projects. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're not so into the sparkle, is what you're saying. I understand. Well, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not insulted. Can you imagine if I was insulted?
Sam the man here says, tell Julie she is the best.
Aw, thanks, Sam the man. That's a nice thing to say. Thanks. That's always nice to hear. Who doesn't want to hear that?
So who are your inspirations in the business? Is it someone like Jennifer Hale, who I think is incredible, or is it Tara Strong, or who's some... I'm guessing they're friends of yours because you've been in the business so long. Yeah, they are they? Yeah.
They are. Yeah. They're really good friends of mine.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have, I think, a text from Jen Hale waiting when I'm done with it. We're really close. Our kids were born very near each other. They've played together. Jennifer Hale and I actually were working on The Sims Medieval together
Nice.
right after our babies were born. So I actually got to go up early and workshop as they were. Boy, am I taking you off track?
No.
For The Sims Medieval, I had done My Sims before, which has a different Simlish sound, and it's sort of for the littles. And when they wanted to work on The Sims Medieval, they wanted a specific sound and accent, and they wanted to play around with it. So they brought me and like a veteran Sims player up north to play around for like 6 hours in the booth and try to figure out what the sound of it was. And that's when I was ginormously pregnant. And then by the time we started, I was like, I will be happy to come north. I will be bringing my very small munchkin with me. But Jen and I were both, like post baby and in the booth together. And
you'd have to connect over that. Yeah, for sure.
She's wonderful. She's really wonderful. Yeah, I mean, you won't be super surprised to hear, my the way I tend to look at all of the creative work we get to do is that because it's by nature collaborative. I feel like art in general is collaborative. Even if you're by yourself painting something, the moment somebody else looks at it, their interpretation, their experience of that artwork has now contributed. So I believe strongly in finding that space of collaboration, which is why I tend to be less competitive and more inspired.
I've noticed that you do, which is really commendable. Like, I love that you do that.
Well, I really thank you for saying that. I get so excited when I see my friends doing exciting things. And Kari Walgren is another very dear friend of mine, and she is so incredibly talented. She just posted maybe today, maybe yesterday. I don't know. It's 2021. I don't even know what day of the week it is. But she posted like some little, montage of a bunch of different voices, and they're all so different. And I find it so inspiring. And anytime I can allow myself to feel excited by, inspired by someone else's art, I'm looking for a way, not that I can imitate it, but that I can stretch too. So I am inspired by, yes, of course, Tara Strong and Jennifer Hale and Kari Walgren and Courtney Taylor. And so many wonderful performers. And, I also love seeing the rise of newer performers like Erika Ishii, who is incredible, and seeing some of the new guard come in, and it's also really fun to watch them soar and see them take their own space.
She was in something recently. What was it? Oh.
She was just announced as part of Apex Legends.
That's right. Yes, Apex Legends. Yeah.
And she's so genuinely passionate about this work and really so talented. She and I were on a panel together, actually with Sissy Jones and Noshir Dalal, and anyway, it was a lovely experience, sort of watching Erika and Noshir talk about what it's like to just to be kind of the newer but still rising,
Well, make sure when you talk to these incredible women, just make sure you remember this: your favorite interview you've ever done is with Dan Allen Gaming. Okay, just remember that.
My favorite interview I've ever done is with. Okay, I've memorized it. That's fine. Thank you. I did it like I was doing mocap, so you have to really know your lines. Then, Dan, I'll be happy to tell them. They're wonderful.
Berin says, what was your favorite memory of playing Samantha Maxis? Well, that's a tough one. There's probably a few.
Yeah. I mean, the younger, the older.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I have very much enjoyed doing her crazy laugh. As a child, and some of the nursery rhyme type of sing-song demonic experiences. Some of those have been delightful to portray.
Is that something you can turn on, or do you have to warm up to get into that stuff?
If I'm really gonna do like if I were going to do like a long session with any kind of, because that's a high pinched sound with a lot of rasp, I would need to really warm up, and all my warm up is always singing. I have a whole playlist that I use usually when I'm driving somewhere, but now that I'm in my home, I have to kind of figure out a different way. But I sing through a whole playlist, which begins with like musical theater and
does it begin softer? And, yeah.
Yeah, it begins a little softer, but at the end it's like a big Italian aria, but like,
oh,
you have to imagine like going to, but that's actually, so on my way to all of my Last of Us sessions where I'm having to slash throats, have my throat slashed, like I am in the car singing on the freeway. Like,
oh, that's
here's my
brilliant.
high C. Yeah. But you asked me another question and it left my brain. Does anyone remember what we were saying?
Your favorite
moments. Yeah. I don't want to forget the question. See? So other favorite moments, they're more collected for me. It was hard to say, look away, Eddie. But again, going back to that for me, connection is the point, that I connected with that experience so much that, again, fun sounds weird, but it was an emotional experience. And telling him to look away was kind of deep.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Carlos here says, tell Julie she's beautiful.
Thank you, Carlos. That's really sweet. Thank you. Thank you.
Have you had an outpour of more messages for this role, more than any? Or
I have. Yeah. I have. It's been really, I would say 99.999 repeating % positive and wonderful. I've had a couple of experiences with sort of like random trolling things, which I hadn't experienced before, so it's still a little novel, but generally that's more like just sort of like more odd messages. But I would say everything people share with me about their experience of, you know, Samantha Maxis playing as her, or knowing that she was becoming an adult, or actually, you know, I've had many wonderful messages from people saying, you know, she was my childhood and this is my dream to have her, you know, be playable, or to see her, you know, take a more adult space. And it's been really wonderful. The community has been incredibly kind. You know, we talked about what it's like when you have a known property, you know, with Batman: A Long Halloween, and hoping that people will love the interpretation.
Yeah.
You know, there was a little part of me going, I hope the players enjoy what we're doing, you know, to give an adult Maxis to the world. So it has been really wonderful that people have been so positive and really welcoming. And I watch reaction videos, and I watch the cutscenes, and I do like to see what the players are saying. I know you're not supposed to read the comments,
but you do.
I think I can do a pretty good job of like grading on a curve. You know, like I don't have to believe something that says something is perfect, and I don't have to believe something that says, like, you know, something is horrible. So like I don't really. And the bulk of it has been so positive,
which is good for a Call of Duty. You know, it's a difference. You know, there's a lot of people in. You know, I don't want to say it's not a toxic community, but there is, because it's such a big scale. There are more, you know, younger kids that aren't as polite as some other kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I really feel like I've been very lucky, and you know, I don't know if it's a thing about having done this for a long time, or just having the perspective to know that everybody really is entitled to their own opinion. If something isn't for someone, that's okay. Like, and if someone's having a really tough day and they're mad or they have to shout about it, that's okay. You know, I am not gonna let that shift how positive the experience has been, and especially the response that I've gotten. I'm not going to let that, I'm not going to hold on to that one thing. And so I really do like seeing everybody's experience of playing, and the whole Cold War story. It's really cool. I like, Bruce Thomas is also a friend of mine, and I really enjoy seeing him, play Adler, and it's cool to see everybody really appreciate the work that goes into it. And I now I sound like I've been put up to this by my t-shirt, but this is for me, I promise. The people who are creating these games are incredibly passionate about what they're doing. And it is a reason why I really love working on this project, and it's really very, very true. Like they pour their hearts and souls into it, and they really want it to be great. And so, that's another part of that collaborative experience, right?
I love your
so funny positivity. How mushy I am.
I love it.
I'm so mushy, and you guys are like, cool, we're gonna go out and shoot some zombies, and I'm like, isn't it beautiful? Like,
yeah, there's a bit of a contrast. That's all right.
I know.
That's all right. Is people keep harassing me here to say if you could do anything in the voice, anything at all. Can you shut them up, or is it too?
Can I shut them up?
Can you shut them up? They just keep asking you. They really want to hear it. I know you're on the spot.
I'd have to sort of. It's really funny because I have to sort of shift my brain to get into it and think about what it would be.
Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to pretend to be a zombie? I could do the voice very well.
I'm going to pretend I can't hear you just to be like, oh, I'm sorry. Can you do that again? Can I actually get an A, B, and a C on that? Can you do that, but make it like at the end, like a longer scream?
Yeah. Good luck voice directing me as a zombie.
I would say, I can't do that, Weaver. I have to stay in the field.
There you go. That'll shut him up. Love it. Garrett says, has Julie ever considered doing music projects in the future? Maybe an album or something? Because you've got the voice. I want to hear it.
Thank you. I haven't, in terms of like a big project. I do have a song, and it's good. I don't know why I'm trying to sort of qualify it, but I had written a lullaby when my kid was a baby, and it's all produced and really lovely. And at some point I will actually get it out there. I just haven't done that yet. But I'm not really a songwriter. I certainly would be happy to do more music. And there are times that I am asked to sing for my work in cartoons and in games. And for right now, that's what it is. But I would love to do more singing. I tend to walk through the doors that I see in front of me. I'm a driven person, but I'm not, right now I am not saying, oh, I have to make an album. But I would absolutely do more singing.
But you just don't have the time. Probably. You're just constantly working.
I'm too busy watching reaction videos, Dan.
You're too busy working.
Established this.
You're too busy working on big games.
I'm fortunate to be able to nod at that.
Everyone here is saying they're very excited to see where the zombie story goes next. Stingray here says, sending love. Thank you for this wonderful interview.
Oh, thank you for saying that, Stingray. Thanks for hanging out.
I'll give you a couple more because I know you're a very busy woman. So just any advice for people, creative people or people wanting to be a voice in the voice game that you can give? Just some top line stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, voice acting, most of us will tell you, the background needs to be acting and performance. I was already acting when I went into voice acting, and I got into voice acting because someone insulted my voice. So I was doing a I was on a TV show and I wanted to see what the fans thought of me. And see, I read comments. It's been a thing. And this was a long time ago. I went onto the message boards and someone had said, and again, I apologize if you've heard me say this before, but this is the quote, she's real pretty and all, but I have to turn the volume off on my TV because it's like Alvin and the Chipmunks have invaded my living room. And I was like,
So this was for a soap opera that you did?
This is for a soap, yeah. And I was like, first of all, screw you. Second of all, that sounds like a great career. So I was already, trained as a performer and had a lot of experience, and then was able to really segue into voiceover. But if a person feels like, I want to play with my voice, or people say I have an interesting voice, it's really important to get that acting training and to really understand how to work with the creation of a character, how to understand, a way to approach the words on the page so that they don't feel like you're reading, so it feels like it's happening in the moment. D. Bradley Baker has created a website that is iwanttobea.voiceactor.com. It is a great resource.
How do you get that username?
He's fancy. He can make the voice of a cricket. He can do anything. D. Bradley Baker is incredibly talented.
Oh, yeah.
But my general advice, I don't know that I have the right to give anyone full on advice here, but is I think it's important to visualize less of I'm the star of this thing, less concretizing what the goal is and more the feeling, right? So if the feeling you want to have is, I want to play, I want to feel like a badass, I want to explore this, then the goal isn't so attached to an outcome. The goal is an internal experience, because there is room for a lot of people to do voiceover. There's a lot of content and it's wonderful. And to make this the only thing you do, yeah, it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time and some money to invest and classes to take. There's also a world in which you can approximate that feeling as well. So does it turn into reading books at your local library to children? Sure, it can. Why not? Right? Can it turn into audiobooks? Sure. Can it turn into, right? So there are ways of playing with it without being so attached to, I have to get to this level or it doesn't count. Our dreams get to count no matter how big or small they may be in terms of outcome. The experience, the internal experience is always big.
That's pretty good advice. I'll tell you what, for a quick answer, I mean, that is very, very good advice. Couple of random questions here, just personally. Okay. I want to know your favorite movie or favorite movies.
I have seen Shawshank Redemption many, many times.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's an incredible movie. I also think Inside Out is phenomenal. Again, internal, external, colorful, animated, it's all the things I love. Psychology.
I was shocked by that movie, how good it was. I didn't expect it. Yeah.
It was a really deep, wonderful movie. I was just watching, actually really love Stranger Than Fiction. I was just watching that again the other day. Those are some movies that I love, but I'm just really off the top of my
No, that's fine.
noggin.
And what are you watching lately in terms of TV or streaming? Is there anything you could recommend, or you don't watch? No time.
I begin watching things. This is what I
Never
do.
finish?
I watched. Yeah. So I'll have this wave where I'll go, I don't have that much work to do tonight. Let's watch WandaVision. And I get so excited and I watch a couple episodes, and then the next day I have 15 auditions and I have 2 jobs the next day, and I am like, oh shit, what happened to the thing? Sorry, can we curse on your show?
We can
what
now.
Happened to the thing?
No.
Yeah, sorry.
You can. No, you can.
It's
all good.
I think I dropped an F-bomb in like the first
Yeah, you did. I think we're all good.
That. Yeah, I forgot to ask at the top. I curse a lot. I like words. So that's, yeah.
And another random one, iCarly. You were in an episode of iCarly? That's right. Yeah.
Yes, but again, that's a voice thing. That's a voice thing. It's just also on Side Hustle, which is another, one of those, a Nickelodeon thing that I did a voice. So on iCarly, I believe I was a Swedish standee. A standee is like a life-size cardboard cutout. And for whatever reason, this woman was speaking in Swedish, and then with her Swedish accent, which again, apparently I can do on the fly. So yes, I did that for iCarly. And but then
no Australian.
For Side Hustle. No, no. No Australian. No.
Oh,
Australian.
okay.
No
there
Australian.
You go. I knew it was in you. I knew it.
You knew it was in me. I try, but I'm always, that's one that I'm like, you can tell I'm really insecure about that one. And I think it would happen even if you were not Australian, but I am insecure about that one. But I do a lot of British voices from RP to, certain areas of London. I've done Russian quite a bit, playing Crimson Widow on Avengers Assemble for Disney XD, and that's cool. Playing her, she's the Yelena Belova form. So we have Laura Bailey playing Natasha Romanov, and for me to get the right Russian accent, I studied a Ukrainian accent. Because the Russian accent was making it harder to understand. So I kind of lilted a little bit toward a Ukrainian. So I kind of blended the two. So that was my little trick.
So what voice don't you do? That's the better question.
Well, Ian McKellen. Remember the beginning? We were just talking about that. See, full circle.
What a way. What a full circle moment. So are there any upcoming projects you can talk about? Anything?
You know the deal. I mean, I would love to. I meant what I said. Like I am afraid of non-disclosure agreements. I am very excited about Batman: The Long Halloween. Yeah. But there are a couple of things that I think will be announced pretty soon that I'm excited about, and I usually shout about them on my socials, which are really just Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah. So where can people find you, Julie?
Instagram and Twitter, Julie _Nathanson.
Beautiful.
At both. And
no Cameo yet?
Twitter, Julie. No Cameo yet. I haven't wrapped my mind around that.
What do actors think of Cameo? Are they fans of it? Is it a bit hesitant at the moment, or do you know?
I mean, I have friends who are definitely into Cameo and who have done, have enjoyed doing it, and especially have shared, like in our friend group, someone will say, I got to lift someone's spirits today, which that part of it attracts me. I don't know. I haven't. Up until this period of my life, I haven't done a lot of like the appearances and the autograph stuff. It, again, just hasn't really been something that I've moved toward. But I'm accepting it more now. And I just did the GalaxyCon live thing and did a Streamily thing. So the GalaxyCon live, we had some like people bought Zoom time to hang for a couple minutes and talk, and I got to interact with some really lovely fans. So, I'm open to it. It's just not something that I've rushed into. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's amazing. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you, Julie. I've had a lot of fun the last hour and
Me too.
Hour and a bit. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me over. Thanks for reaching out and inviting me to the party.
No worries. And I'm gonna ask you to come back. We've had too much fun. If you'll come back. I don't mind that. If you'll come back.
I don't mind that. I'd be happy to come back. You've been a delightful host. The appetizers were delicious.
Oh, thank you.
And
that was the main course.
I appreciate that I don't have to clean up after the party. So it's great. This worked out really well for me.
Awesome. Well, guys, again, Julie Nathanson, follow her. I've got the links in the description, Instagram and Twitter, and look forward to some upcoming projects, Julie.
Thanks. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on, and thanks everybody for watching and listening and being so incredibly supportive. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you, Julie. Take care. Talk to you soon.
You too. Bye.